send him to prison. हेलो डियर स्टूडेंट्स, तो आई होप आप सबने एक्टिव पैसिव के चैप्टर को अच्छे से समझ लिया होगा और उसके क्वेश्चंस भी ट्राई कर लिए होंगे. तो आप चलो उनके सॉल्यूशन देखते हैं. सो लेट्स वर्क टुवर्ड्स द सॉल्यूशंस. So let's begin, guys. Exercise number 1, we had to find the error in the part, in the sentence. The inspector arrested the robber and sent him to prison. Guys, the inspector arrested the robber and sent him to prison या sent him to prison. जब हम पास्ट में चल रहे हैं, एक्टिव सेंटेंस चल रहा है, तो उसको हम sent him to prison. Second form. It believed that he was very rich in the village. It believed या it was believed. सब मानते थे. तो people believed का क्या बन जाएगा? It was believed that he was very rich in the village. We were pleased by the news which we had received a day before. So we were pleased by the news which we had received a day before. हम उस न्यूज से खुश हुए. क्या? अब गलती क्या है इसमें? न्यूज ने हमें खुश नहीं किया. Pleased by नहीं, we were pleased at the news which we had received a day before. My mother suggested me that I should write to her at least 2 letters every month. ठीक है? My mother suggested me that I should write her at least 2 letters every month. Yes guys, suggested me, that यहाँ पे नहीं आएगा. Yes guys, my mother suggested me that I should write her at least 2 letters every month. नहीं ये ठीक है guys. अच्छा, said का suggested बना दिया ना उसने, ठीक है. My mother said to me, my mother suggested me that I should write to her at least 2 letters every month. No error है इसमें guys. Whom was Jayaprakash Narayan called Loknayak? Whom was Jayaprakash called? Who called? Whom was called नहीं, who called? अच्छा, किसने जयप्रकाश नारायण को लोकनायक कहा? तो हु जयप्रकाश. अच्छा, बाय हुम. अच्छा, ये भी है, उसको पैसिव बनाएंगे तो क्या बन जाएगा इस बाय हुम वॉज. हु का बाय हुम बन जाएगा बाय हुम वॉज जयप्रकाश नारायण कॉल्ड लोकनायक. तो हुम वॉज नहीं, बाय हुम वॉज जयप्रकाश नारायण कॉल्ड लोकनायक. He was extremely annoyed by his wife's unreasonable activity. He was extremely annoyed, extremely annoyed by. ये passive sense चल रही है. He was extremely annoyed by his wife's unreasonable activity. Vinay said that the famous professor had been ran over by a truck. Had been ran over है, had been run over by a truck. तो had been के साथ हम passive. A truck had run over the famous professor. A famous professor, and the famous professor had been run over by a truck. Had been के साथ verb की थर्ड फॉर्म आती है, तो had been run over by a truck. मतलब पैसिव सेंटेंसेस में had been के साथ verb की थर्ड फॉर्म आती है. By whom was the teacher helped when he seriously wounded by a criminal? By whom was the teacher helped when he was seriously wounded by a criminal? Yeah, the robbers were broken into the house and took away many precious things. The robbers were broken into. Robbers टूट गए थे या the robbers broke into the house? The robbers broke into the house and took away many precious things. The benches have been arranged for the newly registered students, but they have not been sat या sat in. Yeah, sat अब bench के लिए हम in use करते हैं या sorry on use करते हैं, तो they have not been sat on. वो क्या कह रहे हैं कि benches arrange कर दिए गए हैं नए स्टूडेंट्स के लिए, लेकिन उन पे अभी कोई बैठा नहीं है. तो बट दे हैव नॉट बीन सैट ऑन. ठीक है. Whom was the interesting novel गोदान written? Whom was या by whom was? इसके द्वारा लिखा गया है. तो by whom was the interesting novel गोदान written? My new book will be published next month. Yes guys, my new book will be published next month. No error. I will publish my new book next month. My new book will be published next month. No error. He is very much interested by the plays of Shakespeare. He is very much interested. He is very much interested by. और interested by भी नहीं, interested in the plays of Shakespeare. ठीक है. Interested by नहीं, interested in. The work on the project could not take up as the government did not provide funds. The work on the project could not take up. It was not taken up. It could not be taken up. हाँ. The work on the project could not take up या could not be taken up, उसको किया नहीं गया, could not be taken up as the government did not provide funds. Okay? चलो guys, Gandhi ji will always remember for what he did for the country. Will always remember या will always be remembered? Gandhi ji will always be remembered. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे क्या आना चाहिए? गांधी जी विल ऑलवेज बी रिमेम्बर्ड फॉर व्हाट ही डिड इन द फॉर द कंट्री. ठीक है, उनको याद रखा जाएगा, याद रखेंगे नहीं, वो रखा जाएगा उनको. द स्टॉर्म वाज सो फ्यूरियस दैट द रूफ्स ऑफ मेनी हाउसेस वर ब्लू ऑफ वर ब्लोन ऑफ बाय द स्टॉर्म. तो ब्लू ऑफ नहीं, वर ब्लोन ऑफ. The storm blew off the roofs of the houses. The roofs of the houses were blown off. Fulo refused to admit that he had charge sheeted by the police. He had been charge sheeted by the police. He had been charge sheeted by the police. कि उस पे charge sheet हो गई है. So your behavior is so rude that everybody disgusted with you. Everybody disgusted या everybody is disgusted with you. कि हर कोई तुमसे परेशान है. He will have arrested before he commits another murder. He will have arrested या he will have been arrested. He will be arrested या he will have been arrested. उसको पकड़ लिया जाएगा इससे पहले कि वो कोई और मर्डर करे. He will have been arrested. Unless the syllabus has completed, no examination should be held. Unless the syllabus has completed, your syllabus has been completed. Unless the syllabus has been completed, no examination should be held. The demands of the employees are being examined before a final decision is taken by the proprietor. They are being examined. So the demands of the employees are being examined. Sorry. क्या है guys यहाँ पे? The demands of the employees are being examined before a final decision is taken by the proprietor. Okay? Passive sentence. The burglars broke into the house and took away some cash and many precious things. The burglars broke into the house and took away some cash and many precious things. So they broke into the house and they took away some cash and many things. No error. ठीक है? 20 persons killed and a child was badly injured in the bus accident which took place last night. 20 persons killed या were killed? 20 persons मारे गए. उन्होंने मारा नहीं किसी को, वो मारे गए. तो 20 persons were killed and a child was badly injured in the bus accident. Looking into the situation that prevailed a few years ago, he was taken that decision. He was taken that decision. He took that decision. Okay? परिस्थितियों को मद्देनजर रखते हुए he took that decision. Had the police not reached here on time, he would have killed by the criminals. He would have killed या he would have been killed. उनके द्वारा मार दिया जाता. So had the police not reached here on time, he would have been killed by the criminals. You have lent this book by a friend of yours. So you have lent या you have been lent. तुम्हें दी गई है. You have been lent this book by a friend of yours. Mr. Mohan Mishra had to be operated on to cure him of his disease. Mr. Mohan Mishra had to be operated on या had to be operated on. उनके ऊपर तब उनका ऑपरेशन करना पड़ा. तो had to be operated on to cure him of his disease. Everyone's aged parents will be properly looking after. Everyone's aged parents will be properly looking after. Will be properly looked after. Will be properly looked after. As she had put on strange clothes, she was stared by. She was stared by. She was stared at. People were staring at her, and she was stared at by people. तो stared by नहीं, stared at. उसकी तरफ देख रहे थे लोग. The accused was tried and sentenced to rigorous punishment या sentenced to. So he was sentenced to a rigorous punishment. In the university is going to be hold our examination in this murder case. In this summer. चेंज कर लेते हैं, वो नीचे से कॉपी हो गया शायद गलती से. द यूनिवर्सिटी इज गोइंग टू बी होल्ड, या द यूनिवर्सिटी इज गोइंग टू होल्ड, यहाँ पे टू नहीं आएगा. यूनिवर्सिटी इज गोइंग टू होल्ड आवर एग्जामिनेशन इन दिस समर. द पुलिस हैव बीन अरेस्टेड all the criminals in this murder case. The police have been arrested या police have arrested? उन्होंने पकड़ा है. The police have arrested all the criminals in this murder case. ठीक है, चलो गाइज आगे चलते हैं. तो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पढ़ो एक बार, क्या है? The improvement of the economic condition of the poor must work for. Must work for या must be worked for? उनके लिए काम किया जाना चाहिए. So must be worked for. So the government, जैसे पैसिव किसका बन रहा है? The government must work for the improvement of economic condition of the poor. The improvement of the economic condition of the poor must be worked for. Iraq was illegally invaded by America and England for oil. Iraq was illegally invaded या invaded. It was invaded by America. He overcame with sorrow when he heard the sad news of his failure. So बड़ा दुख हुआ when he heard the sad news of his failure. No error. ठीक है, चलो guys. When I reminded of the mistake I had made, I was struck with a deep sense of remorse. When I was reminded of the mistake I had made, जब मुझे याद दिलाया गया कि मैंने क्या गलती की थी, I was struck with a deep sense of remorse. मुझे बड़ा दुख हुआ. The teacher was telling by somebody that there had been an explosion in the town hall. The teacher was telling and the teacher was told by somebody. टीचर को बताया गया. ठीक है, तो the teacher was told by somebody that there had been an explosion in the town hall. अब next question देखने के बाद, I was told by somebody that there had an explosion in the town hall या there had been an explosion in the town hall. यहाँ पे had been वाली गलती आ गई. I was told by somebody that there had been an explosion in the town hall. A house is being built by them next door to our school. Is being built या built? Third form build की क्या होती है? Built. A house is being built by them next door to our school. He overcame with sorrow when he heard the sad news of his failure. When he heard. जब उसको पता चला, तो he overcame with sorrow when he heard the sad news of his failure. If you had not come in time, the child would have taken away by the dacoits. If you had not come in time, the child would have been taken away. उसको ले गए होते, would have been taken away by the dacoits. The unreasonable behavior of his daughter was thoroughly upset. Was thoroughly upset Mr. Gupta या was thoroughly upsetting Mr. Gupta? Yeah, so it was thoroughly upsetting Mr. Gupta. Next guys, due to unfavorable condition, I was failed to pay my examination fee. I was failed या I failed? मैं दे नहीं पाया. I failed to pay my examination fee. We have to be paid the taxes by the end of March. We have to be paid या we have to pay? We have to pay the taxes by the end of March. All of us will be laughed at them if we go there in this dress. All of us will be laughed at by them, not them, laughed at by them if we go there in this dress. They were arrested him in a case of fraud but released him later thanks to some political manipulations. They were arrested him या they arrested him? They arrested him in a case of fraud but released him later thanks to some political manipulations. It hoped by the daughters of the prime ministers that they would succeed their fathers. It hoped, yeah, it was hoped by the daughters of the prime ministers. One night some thieves came into my house. A lot of gold and clothes took away. One night some thieves came into my house. A lot of gold and clothes took away या was taken away? क्या है यहाँ पे guys? Was taken away. ये तो बहुत सारा सोना और कपड़े चुरा लिए गए thieves के द्वारा. A lot of gold and clothes was taken away. Naturally, they are expected you to interest yourself in the job they have offered you. Naturally, they are expected you. They are expecting you. Naturally, they are expecting you Naturally, they are expecting you to interest yourself in the job they have offered you. And unless they have cleared all the dues, we are not going to be given them any further concession. So unless they have cleared all the dues, we are not going to be given, or we are not going to give. We are not going to give them any further concession. Guys, तो guys ये थे आपके एक्टिव पैसिव के क्वेश्चन आंसर्स. तो आई होप अब आपको समझ आया होगा कि डूअर ऑफ द एक्शन समझना है और जिसने काम किया है और जिस पे काम किया जा रहा है वो सब समझ के हमें अपने एक्टिव पैसिव क्वेश्चंस को सही वर्ब फॉर्म में डालना होता है. Well guys, so that's it for this session. Thank you so much. Happy learning to you.